Hello everyone. So welcome to the part 2 of Ansible task, which we are continuing with part 1. So let's start. So now what we have seen that the complete infrastructure is being created at AWS, and now we are going to configure Docker inside this instance, and we are going to launch the web server inside Docker container, and then client can access this web server. So let me start that part. So my roles. Okay. So now we are going to use this role, and this is the inventory of to run this role. So let me show you the inventory. So you can see here host all the IP in the inventory will use this role. This is the meaning of this playbook. Okay. Now let me show you the code or a task in this role which we are using. So task and main.web. Okay. So this is the task of this role. So first we are creating a repository or configuring a Docker repository inside the instance, because Docker is not installed in the instance. So we have to first create a repository of this Docker, and this will check that become true. Become true means by root login it will do all the thing. Without a root login you can't do anything. And we have given the base URL. From here it will when we run the yum install docker anything command, so it go to the repository, and over there it search for the file, and it download the file from here. This is the location, and here we are installing Python 3. Okay, so Python 3 we require. I will show you that why we require, and I will tell you about it. And we are checking that is it configure or not, Docker repository is configure or not. For this is the command. And now after repository is being created, then we are going to install the Docker inside that instance. So this is the command of it, installing package. Name of the package is this one. Present means it will install for us, and it will store the output in variable. Become true is the root. It will do all the action from root, and we'll start the Docker service inside the instance. So this is the command for this. Okay. And finally we installed pip3 install docker py. So at the time of pulling the image from Docker Hub, we require this package docker-py. To get this package we need a Python, so that we can use a pip command to install this docker py. That's why I have first installed the Python above, you can see, and then I install this package so that it can fetch the Docker image from Docker Hub. And I am using the httpd image, which will pull from the Docker Hub, and the output is saved in z variable, and it will check the status, is it run perfectly fine or not. And here I'm creating a persistent storage, so that whatever is stored, or the whatever code is we are going to going to come, that will store in this persistence volume. So if any container fail, then we can retrieve the code and say we can retrieve the our code or data. And this is the GitHub URL that we are using. So I will show you the code which we are using for uh, in a web server which we are using in HTTPD. So this is the code I will show you. Okay, this one, yes. So this one is the code. It's a simple HTML code. We are giving a background of W, welcome to DevOps automation world, and this and center and all simple code is there. So I have taken the URL of this raw. Okay, let me go back. Okay, this is the URL, and we are storing the output of this URL inside this persistent storage, and this this file or this directory we are going to mount with the container web server location file. So here you can see here we are mounting the volume with this directory, and what we are doing, we are starting the HTTPD service here. Okay, and the port number which port forwarding we are using here. So we are giving that anyone is coming for port 80, it will redirect to the container port number 80. So this is the code or the task code which we are using to configure the complete Docker and web server inside the AWS instance. So let me run this role. So command is Ansible run playbook. Playbook name is docker.yml. Okay, so yum repository, configure docker repository. Okay, let me yum repository, but maybe there's where in the depending on the syntax problem. Okay, I think some indentation error I have done. Let me check. So here I have given I think one extra space. Yes, I have given one extra space, so now it's perfectly fine. So let me run again this role. Okay, now it's I think perfectly fine. It's running the code. Okay, first is gather the or fetch the IP from the inventory, and then doing the configuration part. So Python is installing. Instead, it's installing Python. First is repository is being configured. Then Python installing is going on, and then it's giving the status of this Docker repository is created or not, and now it's installing the Docker for us. So Docker is installed, and now checking the status, that is it installed or not. Yes, and it's starting the Docker service now. That docker-py package is installed successfully, that we require to pull the image from Docker Hub. Now persistence volume directory is created. Okay, field copying. Okay, missing require argument URL. Okay, let me check. Okay, here I have to give a URL, not a source. Silly mistake. Let me run again this role. So best thing is of Ansible is that it's idempotent, so it won't run again the code which is being changed. So which is not being changed. Okay, so it will check, it will give the okay. Okay, now at this time it's working fine, perfectly fine. So the complete infra or configuration is done by Ansible. So let me go to that location of root. Is that file came over there or not? I'm at where I am. Okay, I'm in root. Okay, file name is I think pv, and here I will get, yes, you can see here index.html, this file we get. Let me check that code is there. Yes, you can see here the complete code is here. So this code is mount with the container or container web server, that web server location where the code we keep. And now let me run the check that that web server or the is running perfectly fine or not. So yes, you can see here the complete code is running perfectly fine, whatever we have written here, and it's giving the output. Yeah. So that's it in this part. We'll see you in part 3. In part 3 we are going to terminate this complete infrastructure from Ansible. Okay, but I will say again that we don't use Ansible for provisioning and terminating purpose. The main agenda of Ansible is to configure or manage something inside the instance or operating system. So you can see here this working perfectly fine. Okay, so we'll see you in next part. So thank you.